All right, welcome back to chemistry. This is Wednesday, December 9th, 2020. This is the second part of the week, so day two. We're going to go over a little bit of the Nearpod that I gave you on day one of the Nearpod. Um, if you need to get the link, there's a joinnearpod.com right there, and enter that code or click that link. It should take you there. I'm going to go over these over. This is the part I'm going to do today. Is this part right here, Bohr model. So in the slides, if we get down to near the bottom of the slides, that one right there, so that's the second to last slide, that's the last slide. There's something to write on the Nearpod, so please write on the Nearpod. I'm going to go over this. In Google Classroom, it looks like this. When you click on it, you're going to get something that looks like this. Bohr models, hopefully, you've gotten from the videos you've watched and the notes you've taken. Keep track of protons, neutrons, and electrons. The protons and neutrons live in the nucleus, and the electrons live out here on these circles called orbitals or shells or levels. From your notebook, you know that hydrogen, you have periodic table, and there hydrogen is number one. That is the mass number, and you know that the mass number is protons plus neutrons. So for this one, hydrogen is number one, so it's got one proton. It weighs 2, so it has to, if you do this, it's not hydrogen anymore, it's helium. So you can't do that. If you do this, you have to do that, but electrons don't weigh anything. They weigh squat. They're so little, they're so close to zero, they're just a rounding error. So you have to add one of these. We do have to add the electron, but I'll tell you why here in a second. So now you've got two things in the middle, and that tells you right there that there's two things in the middle. That mass number is protons plus neutrons, right? There is no plus or minus charge on this, so it is an atom. Atoms, that's plus, that's minus. If they're an equal amount, they add up to 0. So if there's one plus and one minus, it adds up to 0. So let me go through and pick another one. Let's do like oxygen 16. All right, so oxygen is number 8 on the periodic table. That means it needs 8 protons. There are only 6 of them here, so let me show you what you can do. I'm going to drag one right there, and I'm going to hit Control D on my keyboard. Control D, and I'm going to do it 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Now there are 8 red ones here in the middle. And I don't care if you leave them like that or you can move them around. Right? So that is oxygen. 8 is oxygen. Right? But it weighs 16. I need 16 things in here. And if I add more of these, I don't have oxygen anymore. So I have to add these. And 16 minus 8 is 8. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And see if I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there's 16 things in the nucleus. All right. There is no plus or minus on here. That is a dash. That is not a minus. So I need 8 electrons. And there are 8 electrons here. And the electrons actually have to go on the rings. So if you just do this, you're going to mess it up. So there's 2. And 2 can go on the first ring. And then it's full. And you have to do the first ring first. It's the cheapest, and nature is cheap. So the electrons go in the cheapest one first. That's the first one until it's full. 2 is full. Then it goes in the second one because that's the next cheapest one. Right? And I don't want to do that. I'm going to move this. Now I need 8 total because there's 8 pluses. I need 8 minuses. There's 2 here, so I need 6 more. This one can hold 8. And how do you know this? Well, you took it in your notes. It also just tells you right here. It tells you in the instructions. Right? So if you forget, it never hurts to read the instructions. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Oh, and I forgot this whole thing. So here we go. So valence electrons are electrons in the biggest shell. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 electrons. How many are in the biggest shell? Just the biggest one. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be a 6, and I forgot that one here. Valence electrons are where all the chemistry happens. So right here, there's 1. It only has 1 electron. Valence electrons where all the chemistry happens. So I worked in lab for 20 years, and I never touched that nucleus. Looks like I'm about to end here. If you have questions, please